a 9-block match this year. And then going against Madison Shear, hovering around that 350 hitting average. We also know that Maddie can block and shut down the right side as well. So to see these two battle it out for those offensive and defensive stats, this is going to be a scrap today.
No question, these teams are at the top of their game right now as we approach the midway point of the season, but very early yet in the SEC portion. Auburn is in the orange tops and the dark blue shorts. Texas A&M in all black today. And here we go. This place is rocking. There was a record crowd of over 3,000 on hand when Alabama came here, and all of the faithful for Auburn volleyball turned out. Let's see how this thing gets started, Paige. Some contrasting styles, too, offensively for both of these teams.
Net violation of the Aggies.
The Aggies commit a net violation, and Auburn will take the first point.
Back to serve for the Tigers is Chelsea McCartney.
McCurdy putting it in play. Led Nikki. She rises, she's powerful, she has a great eye for it, and she's a tough person to handle at the net.
And it's super difficult to just time and balance with a left-handed hitter. But the thing about Logan Lednicki is that she is not just a solely right side player. She's just an athlete and knows how to put a tough ball over the net. And a lot of times that ball is coming opposite of where she is having to take her line of approach, and she is still successful.
Humphrey off the Auburn block, and the point for Texas A&M, an early 2-1 lead. We've just started. Call a buddy or two and tell them it's on. The SEC ESPN Network, one of the premier matches this afternoon in a full slate of SEC play. Auburn hosting Texas A&M. So far, these teams battling as we expected. It's 2-2 now.
On the floor for the Tigers is number 12, Beth Zimmerman. Checking in and serving number 6, Haley Edson.
Auburn serving for the lead in a 2-2 game first set. Kaylee Edson, one of the better servers on this club, sails that one long.
Service error on the Tigers.
So a service error gives the Aggies a 3-2 lead in the first set. That's beautifully done, the back set, and Shear knows what to do with it when she gets it right there.
You know, we talked about Logan Lednicki getting that big kill out of the outside. Well, Shear can go to the right side. We see the athleticism from both pin hitters and just the ability to move them around. And what's important about that is that means you can change up your serve receive. That means you can put your best passers more in the middle of the court because you're not trying to hide a certain hitter. And so to be able to have Madison Shear and even players like Logan Lednicki, just the ability to move them all over the court, I mean, that's just a huge tool in the tool belt for both teams.
And you mentioned the fact that even though she's a lefty, she can play both sides effectively and find open spots. She just did that. Lednicki, one of the better offensive players in the league. And we go back and forth here. 4 apiece.
Back to serve for the Tigers is Paige Thibault.
Paige Thibault, a senior from Watertown, Minnesota, will be serving it. She started her career at FIU. She's also played at Indiana Wesleyan and was at FIU Florida International before she came to Auburn. 13 Auburn starts last year, the 5'6" senior had. Lednicki back row attack. Auburn rejects it. Humphrey can't get it down. Auburn playing well defensively in the early going. This is Humphrey again. And she finds an open spot, deep right corner. Well done.
Lynn, what I'm seeing so far is neither one of these teams see a slow speed ball coming at them in their gyms during practice. I mean, we have just seen power ball after power ball. You better be on your toes if you're playing defense against the Aggies or the Tigers.
And if this were bowling, the head pin would be shaking in fright. Auburn locks it up at 5 in the first set. Here's Peyton Dunn. She only played a couple of matches last year with Auburn as a freshman. She started every game at Oklahoma in 2021, played in every set. Nobody has been able to string a few points together in the early going. We still have a 1-point set, 6-5 Aggies, set number 1. Helmuth can't get it over, and Auburn will take that point to tie it at 6 apiece. What a great place this is to watch volleyball or basketball. Neville Arena has great sight lines. Every seat is close to the action, and it's just a pleasurable place to watch any sporting event that's on this court.
I think so, too. I mean, you're close enough to get injured by the ball. So what more could a fan want? But you talk about that back and forth between the two teams. This is what we expected. This was going to be 1 for 1, 2 for 2. No big serving runs. You know, that's what we can expect from both of these teams. And no doubt that's what the pregame conversation has been about,
no
just
question.
Stopping the run.
No question about that. Auburn locks it back up at 7. That's an excellent serve, just skimming the top and sinking. The overpass. Auburn not able to put it down. A couple of opportunities. Lednicki is challenging Bell, and Lednicki wins it.
These are tough plays, just net management. You know, you want to make sure that you're not getting injured, but at the same time, the timing of this joust, typically it's whoever gets their hands up last is the one that wins the joust, because all of your momentum going against that hitter, going behind the ball. So it's hard to be up high in time, but also be the last one to touch it.
There is some of the excellence at the net, again defensively, by Texas A&M. The block cleanly executed into open court.
And, you know, we forget sometimes, Lednicki, we talk about how she can execute offensively. But if she's on the right side, she is blocking the best hitter from the other team at all times. And so she is an excellent blocker and presence defensively as well.
Auburn able to collect that point. Bill Zimmerman returns to the lineup for Auburn. The Tigers are serving for the tie, trailing 9-8 in the first set. Back and forth we've gone. That will not roll for Lednicki, and it's a point for Auburn. Texas A&M never really got into system that time.
No, and we talked a lot about how controlling that first ball, how many times can you start your offense, not just keep the ball in play. Are you starting your offense?
That's an ace. That one sunk and got a piece of the back line. An ace for the Auburn Tigers, Kaylee Edson, who is probably one of the best servers on the team. There's some of that power you talked about, Paige.
And you partner that with athleticism. I mean, how quick can she get off the ground?
Kasapala just slamming this one down.
You see the height that she's hitting this ball. I mean, this is not a super hard serve, but it's a great pass. She gets up quick. You can't stop that ball.
Auburn is able to win the joust. Belle Zimmerman was strong enough to get it over.
You know, you talk about Auburn athletes. I have to put Belle Zimmerman up there in the top because she is one that can get up quickly. She manages her arm well. I mean, she can slow her arm down and hit for average, but when she's got to rip a ball, she can make that decision last minute.
Lanham putting it in play. And Texas A&M comes right back with Perkins slamming it down from the middle. Morgan is a middle blocker, a junior, and she is a Texas native. With that very difficult serve. This has got to clear, and it does. Lednicki, back row. Was it in? No.
The attack goes long. Point Auburn.
Point Auburn, 12-11. 2 points has been the biggest difference so far through the first 23 points in this first set. That's how tight this has been.
And I'm waiting for a slow play. I haven't seen one yet.
You
Lynn.
might not for a while.
This has been rapid fire, fast break volleyball the entire time.
Buckle up, people. It's Texas A&M, and it's Auburn trading vicious smashes. That's in. And once again, we have forged a tie at 12. There is Jamie Morrison in his second season as Texas A&M head coach. Last year, this team went to the NCAA tournament. And we'll take it here. We are midway through the first set. It's been back and forth, 12 apiece here in Auburn.
Charging, there was no touch. Oh no. Guess I'm going back to the store.
I can fix that.
Fast fixes with Felix.
Tomorrow work?
Works for me.
Got
In the first set, that may change because during the timeout, Auburn challenged the ruling on the floor, which was a point for Texas
will be
A&M.
reversed. There was no touch.
Auburn is claiming that they did not touch the ball, and the call has been reversed. So Auburn, with a very judicious decision to challenge that call. The original call was that the ball was touched by an Auburn defender. A replay showed it was not so.
And I think Brent Crouch, we'd have to double check this, but I think he's only lost one challenge this
wow.
year.
But you know what? That means you're getting good advice from the people on the court, right?
Right.
Auburn's 2-point lead is quickly erased. 13-12. Auburn still leading by 1. 2 points has been the biggest difference so far between these teams. Here's Tatum Thomas, a junior out of Chandler, Arizona. She'll put it in play. And we are locked up at 13, a baker's dozen each. First set action. Thomas again. Good serve. Point on the block by Texas A&M. Well, Paige, you talked about the strength of both of these teams in the middle and defensively, and we are seeing that and then some early.
Look at this nice close, but big early press. I mean, it's just so hard to break through a block that is that solid. You really have to have space off the net in order to get past the block because you're just not going to bully through it.
And now 4 straight points. The biggest run of the game. Texas A&M has taken a 15-13 lead. Well, Paige, let's talk about the difference that we see in this game. We've got a 6-2 system. We've got a 5-1 system. What do you think?
Well, I think that, you know, we've seen it's interesting to have a coach for Texas A&M that has such tenure with USA Volleyball, because Jamie Morrison is no doubt up on the latest trends of what's going on with volleyball. And right now the trend is the 6-2. We went for about 10 years not really seeing a solid 6-2 system, and now it's back. But setters in the front row, they are also an offensive threat. They can take that second ball, throw it down, they can turn and hit the ball. But when you're in that 6-2 system, you don't have a front row setter that can partner with you as a hitter, but what you do have is a constant right side presence. You have a constant right side hitter that can put the ball away. That's where Bella Bell, Belle Zimmerman come in for Auburn. But it can also give you that crucial, and this is what we see with both teams, that crucial back row attack. And that is often your fourth hitter. So we see Logan Lednicki often leading that charge. Lauren Dreves is that back row offensive threat for the Tigers. And so typically you've got four hitters on the court when you think about offensive threat and who all can put that third ball over.
If there are two setters on the court, that eliminates the potential for serving a setter, which takes her out of the game automatically in terms of trying to get her hands on a set.
Right, and
I mean,
you know,
she's got to pass that first receive ball.
Well, and I think that what we see a lot of times is many teams, they're going to move their offense and their serve receive around so that she's just got to dart out of the way of the passers. So that is kind of a complicated part of always having a back row setter. They can't necessarily always be right up on the net in a comfortable spot.
You spoke of Helmuth and her success against Missouri, and we just saw some more of it from the left pin. A cross shot deep to the right, and Texas A&M now leading by 3. This is the biggest lead of the match of the set so far. First set action coming your way from Auburn. And there is an ace, and right now this Aggie team is on a roll as Tatum Thomas has had a nice run from the service line. And Auburn's going to take another timeout. Well, this was a bit unexpected compared to what we saw through the first 25 points or so. And right now, this Texas A&M team has scored 6 straight.
And I think that something that's kind of taken Auburn out of their rhythm a little bit is you see that offensive production out of the middle for Texas A&M. And not that Auburn is counting out the middles at all, but man, I've not seen such athleticism this year out of the middle. And to have Perkins and to have that big offensive threat from Casapala just in there, just constantly making them work. I mean, you just have to stay on your toes the entire time.
Look at the combined middle impact of Casapala and Perkins from last year to this year.
Coach Jamie Morrison talked to us a little bit about how that success is found. And he said it's something about they have to kind of find a different way to grade what is a good pass, because many times passers can think location, location, location. But when you have hitters that are as athletic as these two middles for the Aggies, they can get a different type. They can get a more eclectic type of ball that comes to the setter. The setter can be a little bit off the net. The set can be a little bit mistimed, but because you see the hang time and the athleticism, they need to be fed the ball as often as humanly possible to keep the pressure off of the wing offensive players.
Let's see if Auburn can break this run by Texas A&M. And it does so from the right pin.
Big, hard line of approach here from Belle Zimmerman. You see Belle Zimmerman facing the line, but then she's cutting that ball across her body with power. That's not an off-speed shot for her. I mean, that's her power game.
Auburn needed that point to work the momentum, but it's short-lived.
And what I love about the Aggie offense here is Lednicki, a lot of times we look for the big, which is the back row quick that's normally run right out of the formal middle of the court. Lednicki is staying over there in that setter's position. She's digging from the right back and swinging from the right back.
Helmuth again, an identical shot to what she had just a couple of plays ago. She is a force when she is set right there.
So look at this contrast. You got Lednicki in the right back, but then the ball can go all the way across court to Helmuth. I mean, this is super tough to defend. The middle blockers are really going to have to work to cover all this ground.
And well done that time by Auburn. Greaves with that kill, and she'll go to the service line. She's out of Vancouver, Washington. She was the Washington Gatorade Player of the Year as a senior in high school. Point Auburn. Greaves brings a lot of potential to this lineup, doesn't she? She's very young in her college career.
Absolutely, and we see she can ace, she can do some of these things, but she's that first touch player. She is a 6th rotation player as a freshman in the SEC. That is not easy to do.
That missed. Wide right. Auburn would like to have that opportunity back. Texas A&M now leading by 4 and first to 20. Maddie Walk, who played a couple of years at LSU and has really blossomed after transferring to Texas A&M. She leads the league in sets.
And we talked a little bit about that 5'1", 6'2" contrast, and so some of that leading is because she's not sharing time with another setter. But she has been crucial. I mean, just her size, her height, the need for her as a blocker, those are some other things outside of the setting requirements that she's had to do.
And there's that young lady you spoke so highly of, Lednicki again. She is powerful. She's impressive physically. She leaps. She's got a variety of shots. And she can get your attention when that ball hurdles your way.
I mean, just that last play alone, that is a non-setter giving her the ball from about the middle of the back row court. And you see Lednicki just jumping in there, hard line of approach, and still bullying a block that has to come all the way across her body. I mean, she's seasoned, and she's somehow gotten more athletic as time has gone on.
That is out, and a much-needed point for the home team.
Double contact on the Aggies.
Double contact actually called on Texas A&M. And that brings Auburn to within 3. And that brings Kaylee Edson to the service line.
What Auburn has really got to think about here is how many points have they earned in the last probably 8 to 10 points that have been Texas A&M errors. You cannot rely on the other team to break down and make errors. You've got to earn points.
Humphrey dumps it to the back row. And that's put down a nice effort from the left pin. And well done by Maddie Shear. She actually changed her shot as she approached the ball.
Yeah, this was kind of probably a little bit too fast for transition defense, but you see Maddie Shear just making it work. She is so good at just lacing the ball. 1 and 6 spot on the court, right between the right back, right between the middle back. It's hard to make a decision on who plays that ball. She is really good at that shot.
And that set was a little behind her. She had to turn her body into a pretzel to try to get a swing, and made a really good decision, as it turns out. That's not an easy play. It looks routine, but it's not.
Right, and being 6'1" helps. So, you know, being able to just stretch and reach for that ball is always helpful. And Auburn definitely has the size across their front row to make certain plays like that.
So if you're looking at this from the home team standpoint, Auburn having suffered 1 loss this year, and that's it. Texas A&M with only 2. It's a 2-point game. Texas A&M on the road leading in the first set. Auburn wants to be very, very careful here, play flawlessly, but still play aggressively, and try to pull back, because Texas A&M had a 7-point run earlier to take control of the first set.
Yes, you have to take care of that first ball, and it goes back to our original question: how many times are you starting your offense with the dig? And that's who's going to win this match, who can do that the most often.
Thursday night is SEC soccer rivalry night. Alabama's Crimson Tide take on number 16 Auburn at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Then number 22 Texas hosts Oklahoma in another matchup of the Red River Showdown. That's 9 Eastern. Wow. Power again from Kosapala out of Flower Mound, Texas. She's a junior. She stands 6'2" and is very powerful. 22-19, Auburn in desperate need of a point right here. That rolls over. Excellent dig from the libero. And Texas A&M is able to turn that defense into offense.
A fair assumption that you could make about both teams is that they practice hard. I mean, I don't see anyone looking fatigued. I don't see anyone looking tired. And this is where you have to, like you were saying, Lynn, how do you play aggressive but play with precision and efficiency? How do you make sure there's no wasted effort? And when you're getting the ball up, when you're making those big digs, can your setter jump in there and start the offense? It's just that better the ball mentality. And what we're seeing from these hitters is just aggression, aggression, aggression. I've not seen anyone take a slow approach or look unsure with how they're putting the ball over, despite maybe you've just gotten blocked or maybe the other team just dug your ball. And so we just see this efficient aggression from both teams. And so who can do that the longest today? That's the big question.
Maddie Walk, 2 years at LSU before coming over to College Station. And look at how she has improved statistically. 4.8 assists per set.
And Maddie Walk is, I mean, she's a hardball player. We've talked about this before. They did not have an easy non-conference schedule. So for her to already have those type of stats going into conference play, she is running this team. She's determining the speed. She's determining the aggression of the hitters and doing a great job with it.
The only 2 losses for Texas A&M this year came against Texas. That was a 4-set loss. And then earlier, a 3-set loss at number 7, Wisconsin. Those are the only 2 blemishes for Texas A&M.
But look at how she can force this right side set. I mean, that is so aggressive, so consistent with her. She does a great job there.
Underwood's serve comes up a little bit short on set point. And so Auburn has life, but needs to score at least 4 straight. Something it has not done yet in the first set. The first set belongs to visiting Texas A&M. And we'll take a timeout here as Texas A&M, midway through the first set, had a 7-point run and wins it 25-20.
If we weren't proud of the craftsmanship and level of detail that go into every pair of Warby Parker glasses, well,
play first here in gorgeous Neville Arena in the Auburn campus, one of the most beautiful in the SEC. Double block attempt, but it's off of Shear and out of bounds, and a point to Texas A&M. Auburn lined it up, had a pair of effective blockers, but again, that power shot and sliced, tooled off the hands of the blocker.
And what's tough about blocking against both of these teams is that your body posture has to be almost perfect, because that will be a constant. It's not enough to just get hands across. You got to have a strong body.
Texas A&M has scored the first 2 points despite a terrific save by Alexis DaCosta.
We got Brent Crouch reaching for that challenge card. Not sure what the challenge is at this point.
Timeout on the floor for our coaches. this challenge, the previous players.
The original decision was no net. Auburn is charging that there was a net fault.
So Auburn is claiming and wanting that there was a net violation. That was not called originally, obviously. Brent Crouch is a very interesting guy to talk to. Now, he is certainly innovative, but how many college volleyball coaches in the SEC or anywhere to the level of play that Auburn has, how many started their career as a philosophy teacher?
Right,
It
with a
wasn't
PhD.
until he was 32 years old before he got into volleyball as a full-time coach. A philosophy teacher. He played the game,
Right.
but for many years taught philosophy.
Right, with a PhD. I mean, so he is Dr. Brent Crouch. And so, yeah, that's very interesting. And I think that it adds to just the science of how he approaches the game. And he tries to tie that in with a lot of just how he presents himself as a volleyball teacher. And I think that a lot of his players appreciate that.
Net or no net?
Well,
Showing you that.
and the question here is if it's the ponytail, you know, that's not supposed to count because that's an uncontrollable part of the body. So we'll see if this is seen as interference with the play.
Our call is going to be reversed. There was a net fault.
There was a net violation, and so Dr. Crouch is 2 for 2 today.
After further review, the call is reversed.
Brent Crouch, when he sees it, he sees it. I mean, he has been very successful in getting calls reversed for his team this year. So when he picks up that green card, you better be able to present some substantial evidence.
2 times he is challenged, 2 times he has been correct. 1 apiece. Second set. Texas A&M won the first set. Here. And there is Casapala again, the middle blocker. Rises powerfully, and she is a very nice complement to some of the other offensive stars.
And she's just unstoppable. I mean, it's not just getting up quickly. Look how fast her arm can finish. That is before the blockers can get hands across.
That is slapped down on somewhat of an overpass. And you like to get it there, don't you? Bella Bell rings the bell with that swing.
Hard swing here, tough to control, but seeing Bella Bell, great net management there, just putting a quick ball away, not making a mistake.
The freshman Kaylee Edson now will serve. Shear. Blocked out. Point Tigers on the sheer kill.
And that was a great job by Auburn blockers there, just sticking with the middle. That ball was tight. That could have gone up with walk, but they stayed disciplined. That turned into a quality block touch that started the offense.
Oh, that one's mishit and misses by several feet long. So Auburn with the service error that ties it early in the second set. We are locked at 3. Well done from the right pin. Sheer can be a sheer force when she gets it going.
And I love this rotation where they kind of hide her in the right side because she's got that tough cut shot. That's such a tough dig because you've got to bring that ball back to the middle of the court so the setter can play it. That's a great shot by Maddie Shear.
That was an excellent serve as well by Lanham. That crawls over for Greaves. Hammer time, right side. Bill Zimmerman from Liberty, Missouri.
Auburn knows knows that they're not going to get a lot of opportunities like this. When you get that free ball, you better be one-to-one with a kill. And you give that ball to Belle Zimmerman. She is so efficient on the right side with a slow coming ball across the net.
Back row attack. And guess who? Lednicki. You talked about her versatility, Paige, and we've seen a lot of it today. Back row, front row, touch shots, big swings.
And
she's taken something off a couple of swings and found open spots.
And you don't have to set her perfect. I mean, you can give her an ugly ball, and she will find a way to make somebody dive, make somebody make a mistake, or she'll just put a ball away.
7 kills in the first set for Lednicki. Will have to clear, and it does. A long rally in progress. Auburn saving everything to this point. Tries to roll it deep. And Texas A&M, with a great effort itself, finally could not get it to clear. And some of this big crowd rises and certainly applauding both teams for that effort.
I love the slugfest between these two teams. You see them both just scrapping for these points. And you know what I've noticed is that the one-arm stabs, those big athletic plays, those are not something that you plan, but a lot of times you can throw off your own team by getting a ball up that way because people kind of don't know what to do. You see someone going after the ball immediately with a platform, not expecting to start an offense because they didn't think you'd get the ball up. Not these two teams. They expect a scrap fest like this all afternoon long.
Scrap fest is a perfect way to describe it. Aggies get the point. 6-5 now. Auburn by 1. Auburn will receive the serve from Morgan Perkins. And she dumps it into the net. I am curious about the side-out percentage for both of these teams.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing with the side-out percentage here is, you know, both teams have got to make sure that they're not relying on the other team to make that service error, to mishandle the ball.
Ooh. There's not a lot. There was actually nothing that DaCosta could do defensively.
Lednicki sky high from the back row. You see DaCosta. I mean, DaCosta sees it, but what do you do when a ball's coming out? Just defending yourself at that point.
And her platform was not bad. She was in a position to try to make it happen, but just too much heat, too much velocity. Lednicki again. There's another example. Peyton Dunn was there, but just got overpowered by that smash by Lednicki. And it's a 7 apiece second set. Maddie Walk, the former LSU Tiger, commits the service error, and the Auburn Tigers will very happily get that one as Walk played a couple of seasons at LSU. And then took her talents to College Station.
Finally, there it is, that big alignment there with the block. You see Bella Bell just creeping in just a little bit, but hands are strong, body strong across the net. Finally getting that good alignment there on Logan Lednicki.
Stating it, there is one that hits the tape and rolls over, and LSU, the Auburn Tigers will certainly take that.
And this is all it takes for a momentum swing.
Indeed.
One big block, one tough serve, and before you know it, there's a 3-point difference.
Lauren Dreves putting it in play once again with the jump serve, and ace, right side, perfectly placed. Dreves with the ace.
Not playing like a freshman. from what I can see. Lauren Dreves just looks like she's been out here the whole time, been ready for SEC volleyball her whole life.
Out of Vancouver, Washington, and Auburn now on a run with strong play at the net. It's 12-7. Texas A&M decides to talk about it. 12-7, Auburn leads in the second set.
We're back in Auburn Arena, and we're talking about some of the young talent that is here on the Plains. We've got Lauren Dreves, Kaylee Edson, Emma Moore, who you see on the sidelines not dressed tonight, and belts that makes and getting players ready for the season. Now, Brent Crouch expected these four to make an immediate impact for the Tigers. And we see from Lauren Dreves, she's still back there, back on the service line. But in previous matches, she has talked about how she has just been chomping at the bit to get into college volleyball and to be able to be in just fast break volleyball in the gym with her teammates, just seeing the different levels, the different speed of the game before she came in this season. That has made all the difference for her and certainly gotten her ready for the season this year.
Texas A&M stops the Auburn run. The Auburn Tigers leading by 5. That 6-point margin was the biggest of the afternoon so far for Auburn. It's now a 5-point lead in the second set. Texas A&M collected the victory in the first set. Point, Texas A&M, again the big swing. Lednicki is a force, and when she gets into a rhythm and her team feeds her consistently and well, your chances are very small in returning swings like that.
And you don't see a scramble from either team. I mean, regardless of what the score is, there is just no scramble here. Both teams are just battling it out, next ball mentality, going after the next swing.
What a reach that was by Dreves on the back row to keep it alive. That is defense turning into offense to enable your team to play on.
Absolutely, and Maddie Shear, she sees the situation here way inside the court. That's not a perfect set. That's not ideal, but she knows gather her feet to get that ball deep in that corner, make them work for it.
And we'll see if there's some sort of challenge. There is a discussion going on.
If I had to guess, I think this is Jamie Morrison. Might have seen hands touching a ball from Peyton Dunn as she went up with that one-handed set. It might have grazed the block, which would technically be a back row attack.
That serve sails long. Texas A&M was a winner in the first set. Auburn leads in the second set, trying to pull even. Matinee volleyball on this Sunday from Auburn. That is long point home team.
Point Auburn. On the floor for the Tigers, number 12, Matt Zimmerman.
Both of these teams, and we saw it in the first set for Texas A&M, both of these teams have the ability to explode and score 5, 6, 7, 8 points in a row. Right now, Auburn is trying to do that with a 5-point advantage right now in the second set. You can't get comfortable if you're Texas A&M or Auburn today.
Absolutely not, because we've seen the momentum shift violently for both teams. All it takes is one or two of those, and then before you know it, you're on the opposite end of that leaderboard.
Lednicki had 7 kills in the first set, and they've got her for 11 right now. She's serving and scores the ace. Watch the movement on the ball by Lednicki. If we can get an end zone shot, you'll see just how difficult it is. It doesn't look all that hard from home. When you're here receiving that 45-mile-an-hour serve with a lot of movement, let's watch this. You see that ball? Left, right, sink.
Absolutely.
With speed. What a great shot by our War Eagle production team.
And you're targeting the hitter that's going to take that third ball. So not only are you putting movement on the ball, but you're making the person that they're trying to build the offense around dive for the ball or take one knee or get in her own approach lane. So she's not only powerful, but she's precise.
Let's see if they go back to Dreves. They will. Cross-court shot is saved on the Aggie sideline.
Auburn's block goes wide. Point Aggies. Checking into the Aggies, number 4, Emily Elmer. Also checking in and serving number
By the
3,
way, Belle Zimmerman is approaching a milestone. She's got 499 kills. The next one will be 500 for her career. This is Dreves. Has to push it to an open spot. The Aggies recover. That is not touched. It's long.
Point Auburn.
Point Auburn. 17-13. The Auburn Tigers lead Texas A&M's Aggies in the second set. And I think we're going to have a challenge here.
The original decision was no touch. Auburn is challenging that there was a touch.
He meant Texas A&M is challenging, right?
Right. Yeah, I definitely think that caught the index finger of...
Changed just a little bit.
And that's the angle of the flight is typically the telltale sign, but many times, you know, officials, I don't know what their what the latest training might be on this, but many of them have to be trained to listen for a sound of a touch, just because and it's being hit at such velocity. I mean, you just can't see it as it's happening.
And the fact of the matter is, if it skims a fingernail, the human vision is not able to detect that.
Sure.
But the Hawkeye system here this year, which is used all across the SEC, there are a dozen or so angles, cameras, review options that officials can use, and it has certainly added a lot of evidence to the replays.
Yes,
this is the Hawkeye view right here.
I love this angle here. See Belle Zimmerman close.
If you were the referee, how would you judge that? Touch or no touch?
The
Here
call
we go.
will be reversed. There was a touch on Auburn.
Yeah, I agree.
Texas A&M's ball.
Oh, he saved you there.
I just ran out of time.
We'll catch it earlier on the next time.
Okay.
But I think you and I both saw the potential for a touch in real time.
Sure. And I think but if that ball had not kind of slowed down a little bit, I mean, there's just no way of seeing that. So
do you realize that we've had 3 challenges and they've all been successful? 2 by Auburn, 1 by the Aggies.
Right. I mean, you think about what a coach's job is in a match, and they are so powerless, but they can pull that green card and they can change the trajectory and the momentum for their team.
And so the Aggies now have pulled to within 1, 16-15 after winning the first set. Tatum Thomas, who's had an effective serve in this match, putting it in play again. This will have to clear.
And there's 500 for Belle Zimmerman.
Congratulations to her. Hammer time from the right side. Let's take another look at kill number 500 in her career.
Driving hard inside Belle Zimmerman. She knows that she can hit that sharp angle or she can hit it deep. She gets up so high. She's got such hang time. She just has time to see the court. And I love how loose her arm is. She can just place that ball wherever she wants.
There's a give back on the serve. T-ball unable to get it in. 17-16. Auburn by 1 as we get late in the second set. Perkins serving. Lednicki back row. Wow. How many is that for her?
And
At least 12.
And you're watching that back row attack.
That's 13 kills for her.
You play that like it's front row. I mean, there's no other strategy when you're blocking or defending, because she can hit that ball straight down even 10 feet off the net.
Auburn family during the preview.
We'll put you on the court right here.
Chelsea McCurdy recorded her
Just the speed, the velocity. It's just unreal how much she has improved in her time as a collegiate athlete.
And she's probably got 270-degree vision. You know, she sees everything when she's in the air.
Oh, I think she can for sure. And I think because she is a left-handed player, just the way her body has to open to the court differently than a right-handed player, I think she gets a vision that a lot of players don't get. And she has to just drive to the ball in a different way, and I think that makes her more versatile.
So we are locked up at 17. Read and React, hosted by Cole Kubelik and Roman Harper each week. There was no doubt that we're going to be in for a vicious fight today between these teams. Only 3 losses between them. Auburn's only setback was at Minnesota. That's been it. They've won everything else. And a big smash from Belle Zimmerman. Another one.
I think maturity would be the word that I would put for Belle Zimmerman this year. You see her, just her athletic ability, she's always had that, but then she's been able to grow this aspect of herself as a player where she can just see the court in a different way than last year.
Auburn gets a couple of critical points in a row to take a 19-17 advantage. For Zimmerman, by the way, that was kill number 6 on the play prior to the one you just saw. That skims the tape. Lednicki back row. Auburn is going to be able to play this. Dreves. Yes! A wicked angle. There was a lot of distance between Dreves and the net, and she still was able to drive it off the defender.
Lauren Dreves came from downtown on this last play here. This is coming from middle back, off a platform. You see her driving in sky high, cutting in their first year of SEC volleyball.
And that was going to be my question to you. How good can this rookie get as her game progresses?
Well,
she's only a first-year player.
Right, and I think the thing that is just shocking to me, the thing that stands out most is just her court vision. A lot of times when you get a young player in an environment like this where you're constantly seeing 4 hands in your face, you never have a hole in the block, you never have a single blocker, that rattles players in a way that makes them try to go so far around blockers and around defenders that they just make errors. You know, they're pounding the ball on the tape, they're hitting the ball long, hitting the ball wide. Lauren Dreves is able to just see ball width across the net. So if she sees those 4 hands, she can place a ball right next to that set of hands but keep it in bounds and not make an error. And that is so, I mean, that's junior level, 3 years under your belt type skill level. And so all we have to add to Lauren Dreves at this point is just getting her in a good strength program. Give her 3 years in a good collegiate strength program and see what she turns into. Because that's what I think happened with Lednicki, and we see how she has improved through her tenure at Texas A&M.
Just to bring you up to date, Logan Lednicki has 13 kills to lead everybody. Walk with the set. And that's the big swing from Emily Helmuth. She was a factor in the first set, not so much in this set yet.
But when you want to depressurize Lednicki, giving the ball to the middles, giving the ball to Helmuth, I mean, you just cannot lose track of them. They're great players, very athletic.
7 kills for Helmuth as we update her totals. And there is a very accurate swing by Bella Bell from the right pin, left side.
And in that timeout, that's what I would have been telling Bella Bell. Make Logan Lednicki play defense so she can't play offense. That was a great shot by Bella Bell.
Auburn leading by 3 as we get late in the second set, 21-18. That's off the chest of Dunn, and Auburn capitalizes.
Great swing by Chelsea McCurdy here, but that's also an assist for Bella Bell. She'll want that marked down for sure. Adding it to her resume as an assist there for her teammate, Chelsea McCurdy.
That's only the second kill for McCurdy, but a big one right there to give Auburn a 22-18 lead. Nicely done by DaCosta defensively for Auburn. That is wide. It didn't miss by much, but it missed.
Coach Jamie Morrison asking for a touch off the block. We know DaCosta didn't touch it because she quickly pulled that platform out of the way. So he's wondering if there might have been a touch here at the net. So,
well, the coaches collectively are 3 for 3.
No touch. Texas A&M is challenging that there was a touch.
And you know, you've got a couple of challenges to use each set, so why not at a very critical point in this second set?
Oh, for sure. Even if it just gives you an extra conversation with your team, you know, there is purpose behind not letting them go to waste.
I don't think that left hand might have touched it.
I do not think there's enough evidence to overturn the original call. Should I get my answer in on time?
Did you eat carrots last night? Are your eyes good today?
Right, yeah, yeah.
That's the Hawkeye change its flight or spin. We'll see. But yes, no waffle on your part that time. You were quick to let us know. Boy, this has been a heavyweight match, hasn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. And when you see teams like this, I think it's
the original call is confirmed. Point to Auburn.
So that's the first challenge that was not reversed. And Auburn will gladly take the point. I think the video evidence sustained the original ruling. And Auburn closing in on a victory in the second set, but still some work to do, leading 23-18. And Lauren Dreves at the service line shoots the floater. Oh, that was a little bit out of the reach, and still Kasapala right where she needed to be at the right time. That was a gift for her. But it is going to be a net point for Auburn. So Auburn is going to get that point because there was a net violation. Set point for Auburn's Tigers, leading by 6. There's the block, and there's the second set victory for Auburn. We're tied up at 1 set apiece. The Auburn Tigers rally with excellent play in the second set. We go to the third, 1 apiece.
All right, we're done.
We're not done.
You need more boxes.
Fast.
I can fix that fast.
Fast fixes with Phelps.
Start the third set. Ellie Stinson puts it in play. And Shear gives Auburn the early lead.
Back to serve for the Tigers is Chelsea McCurdy.
Boy, you get the feeling that both of these teams are just going to keep swinging, and it's kind of a war of attrition, isn't it?
I think so, and I really want to comment on just the overall fitness of both teams. I think that there's so much to be said about just the cardio sport that volleyball is. And as I'm watching both of these teams, I don't see anyone slowing down, shifting gears, just trying to sustain, you know, trying to catch their breath. I don't see any of that. You see them going hard approaches, big fast movements to the ball, whether it's in defense or in offense. So I think the fitness of both of these teams is just at an excellent level right now.
After Humphrey tied it with that last kill, Auburn comes right back to take it 2-1 lead.
Again, Madison Shear coming from this off speed, just out of system setting. This has just not bothered her all match. I mean, you see her making smart shots with intention to score.
Lednicki. Well defended that time by Dreves. The dump shot is well done by Shear. That's an example of her versatility. She saw a little bit of an opening and hit the target with the off speed.
And that's a great shot. When you're an outside and you're getting pulled in like that, you know the blockers are coming in too, but who's going to defend that line? Because that's typically the blocker's job. Got to put some height on it, otherwise they're going to smack it down in your face, and she does a great job seeing that.
That shot looked like a free throw, didn't it?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Auburn just misfired on that. They had every opportunity after a mistake by Texas A&M. But a bit of a goof at the net. And it's 3-2. Auburn leading in the third set. We are locked up 1 set apiece. Lednicki sails that long. Auburn will gladly take any gift from Lednicki. 4-2 Auburn, third set. Humphrey. Auburn sends it back. Lednicki, two-handed push to the back row. No problem, Auburn. Dreves' shot is handled by Underwood. And Texas A&M finally prevails.
We're seeing a few more quality block touches in this late sets and starting on this set. You know, what we saw a lot of in the first set was just clean, untouched kills, those big, scary swings from both sides. Now it seems like we're getting a little bit more block alignment, slowing the ball down at the net, which is what both teams need to capitalize on here.
And Helmuth with that big swing. Smashes one in. Down on the baseline, we are tied at 4 in the third set. Helmuth again. There's the freshman, Lauren Dreves. You can see her asserting herself more and more as this match progresses.
And again, this is a long rally, but a lot of net management took place just then. There were balls that were stopped at the net. Those don't count as blocks. A block is something that ends the play. What we saw a lot were stops at the net, meaning the hitter has hit the ball's been stopped, you got to dig and cover and try again. And for Lauren Dreves to put that ball away after a long rally like that, I mean, she's just a smart, wise player.
That's a terrific recovery on a set which went awry, but then Helmuth finishes it off for the Aggies. Zimmerman made a really fine play just to get the ball over the net with nothing to work with. But Helmuth, too good.
And what I notice about both of these teams is that there are certainly game plans and systems that they like to use, but when things aren't in system, I don't see anyone bothered by that. They just keep going after the ball. They just keep swinging at the ball, and you don't see either team mentally rattled or kind of looking around like, oh no, what do we do? That didn't work. And I think that's what's making this match so exciting.
You just saw Texas A&M's defense rise for the point, and then the error, and we are tied at 6. So what else is new? We've had 2 very close sets. Dunn. Dunn with the set, and that's it long, I think. Auburn is, all of the Auburn players, 5 of the 6 on the court are saying that ball was touched. And we'll see what Brent Crouch does here. Dr. Brent Crouch. I think he's going to challenge it. Yes, he will. He's 2 for 2 today.
Yeah, might as well.
All right, partner, what did you see?
Well, I did not see a touch.
The original call was no touch. Auburn is challenging that there was a touch.
And so I think the tricky thing is, do you have enough video evidence to overturn the call? Now, I felt that it was going too fast to really see a touch, so you're going to have to rely on video evidence.
I didn't see one there.
Many times when you're the hitter, you hear that contact first. You hear the ball off the block first.
Well, in support of the challenge, immediately, every Auburn player turned toward the bench and gave the touch signal.
Right, right.
All of them.
Let's see if we can get another look here. Oh, yes, I think both inside hands might have gotten. I do think there is enough evidence to overturn this call.
You notice how I'm withholding my opinion. I mean, it is political season. You got to straddle the fence.
The call is going to be reversed. We have a touch. Point Auburn.
Well, Brent Crouch is 3 for 3. Got a lot of help from his players on the court.
Right.
But he's been wise. He's been savvy. He's been sage today.
And I think his players are doing a good job not wasting his challenges, because, you know, if you waste one and then something really crucial comes up, you don't have that opportunity to turn it around. And so I think they're doing a good job knowing, no, we better be sure before we ask our coach to do this.
Well, Lednicki comes flying in there with that southpaw swing and rips another one. 7 apiece. And Maddie Walk, the ex-LSU Tiger, on the service line. Point from the middle. That's Chelsea McCurdy, a graduate student from Washington. Nine starts last year from McCurdy. Started every match in 2022. And Bella Bell rings the bell for Auburn. That's a 2-point lead now for the Tigers.
Bella Bell just slowly but surely calibrating herself to where Logan Lednicki's arm is going to be, and that was just about perfect.
And that is so difficult. And that time a miss hit. Well, let's see. There was some sort of violation for Auburn. So Lednicki will get credit. Texas A&M for the tie. Lednicki again. And we've said it several times, but it's not overkill to say that when she gets the ball there, it's unstoppable. It is unstoppable.
If she can get past the block and there's no touch on her block, I mean, it is an undefendable ball. It comes at such velocity and such speed. It's hard to say you could even get your platform in the right position.
Auburn misfires. The set was not on time or accurate. And Texas A&M now has regained the lead 10-9. Back and forth we go. Each team has had high tide moments and low tide moments.
And it's a contest to see how much can you quell the low tide moments. How often can you get out of those holes, and how deep are they before you get out of them? And I think both teams are doing a great job just making sure it's only 1 or 2 points and not letting tendencies go on until you get your whole momentum broken and you don't have time to come back.
Bella Bell's last swing ties it at 10. Lednicki, one more time.
Logan Lednicki, I mean, just unleashes on this ball. You know, from the right side, a lot of times you give this player a high loopy ball, but here she comes in on a fast break. That's almost a slide approach tempo, and she's hitting that ball with such speed and velocity, but also accuracy.
17 kills for Lednicki. There's one for the Auburn Tigers. Madison Shear. The thing about Lednicki, when she's on that right pin, it gives her a lot of options as a left-handed swinger, doesn't it?
It does, and she can open her body to the cross-court swing, but man, when she really wants to turn down the line, I mean, that's full arm swing. That's full range of motion with her arm. And as you can see here, I mean, Grace Havlicek, she's there, she's lined up, but if you don't have your body strong and perfect, you know, it's not enough just to get hands over. You better be strong and ready for a punch from Lednicki.
And she's at the service line with 18 kills. Once again, a bit of a misstep, some mistiming on that set. And Texas A&M will take the gift. Auburn will take a timeout right here. And we will too. Texas A&M 13, Auburn 11. The sets are even. One apiece. We're in the third.
Oh no. Guess I'm going back to the store.
I can fix that.
Fast fixes with Felix.
Tomorrow work?
Works for me.
Gotta run.
Into the eyes of Emily Helmuth right now on the bench, a 6'3" junior from Dallas. And she has played effectively when she's been on the floor, and she is starting to emerge for Texas A&M.
We talked about her a little bit in the pregame about how she's been such a nice complement to the heavy hand of Logan Lednicki there on the right side. But clearly she's athletic. She's able to get kind of these, what we might call a junk ball. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can come off of a non-setter. It can come off a platform. But she's got 9 kills today after kind of not being super effective in the non-conference. So there's no doubt that Texas A&M, while they want this win, they're scratching and clawing for these placements in the SEC. Having these players that are improving as weeks go on, I mean, this is going to be crucial for how they look in the postseason.
Serving for the tie, and it doesn't get there. Lanham's serve came up short, and the Aggies have a 14-12 lead in the third set. And Helmuth has just come off the bench. She'll be on the front row. Tatum Thomas is serving. That's going to be a point for Texas A&M. It takes away the big swing. Brent Crouch wanting an explanation on that violation. And this is a critical time right here. Texas A&M with a 3-point lead in the third set. That is an overpass and then some. In fact, so far away that it didn't give Texas A&M a chance to put it down. Helmuth. Auburn defends.
Great play there by Lauren Dreves, just trying to chip away at the other team. You know, as plays like this kind of get a little bit more out of control, you see a little bit more chaos, hard to control that first touch. You know, the tendency is to just slam it over, and a lot of times that results in a big roofing block, but she did a great job just seeing the block, tooling it, getting the point back.
And Helmuth does find the sideline with that shot. And we're going to have a challenge. It was ruled in. And Brent Crouch is going to try to go 4 for 4 in challenges today.
Previous play is under further review for in or out.
So we'll take another
The
look.
original decision, ball in. Auburn is charging that the ball is out.
I felt like the ball was in just from where I was sitting, but also kind of gauging off of the reaction of the defense here.
We should get a good look at this. Stripe.
I'm wondering, because again, I was watching reaction of the players. I'm wondering if Kaylee Edson kind of regretted taking that step in, and she might have been thinking about that as the play ended. But I don't know. That video looks like it could be, that ball could be out.
It was ruled in. And Brent Crouch decided to take another look.
I would have to say there's evidence.
This is going to be razor thin in terms of, was it on the stripe or not?
The original decision will be reversed. The ball was out.
Brent Crouch needs to find a lottery
I know.
at the end of today's
about to
action.
say that. He needs to start
I mean, he's
buying
4
lottery
for 4
tickets.
now. You know what's amazing, and I think that was the 6th time we've had review. Before the review system, and this is no criticism of the officials, this is a very difficult game to officiate.
Yes.
But it does show, before reviews were possible,
Right.
how many potential errors there were on the court. And,
Sure.
and again, it's not because the officiating is poor. It's just a tremendously difficult game to call with so many variables and not clear evidence as to what actually happened because of the speed of the game.
Right, and you have to also think that many times, especially like in-out calls, the people that are comparing their notes, there is a person that is floor level and a person that is up above the net level, and they are looking at the same thing just at different heights. You know, how efficient is that? How does that help make a better call just being on the same line but at a different height? So to have the video evidence, I mean, yes, it's telling of how many missed opportunities you might have in calls and how they end up for certain teams and how crucial they are.
That's Lednicki from the back row. Well defended and now rising for the block, Texas A&M.
It's a great long look across the net here. And you see just like again, she's just got such a solid body when she goes across the net. Gets great quality touches, but shuts hitters down by just being higher and stronger.
Auburn needed that point, and we've got a 17-16 game, third set. Sets are even one apiece. Texas A&M by 1 as we approach the latter stages of set number 3. Sunday matinee volleyball from Neville Arena. Lednicki, yes, once more she's been virtually unstoppable. That's 19 kills for Lednicki. Helmuth, her running mate, has 10. Those are the only 2 in double figures. Right now, Auburn does not have a double-figure kill total. Somehow that ball is poked over. Lednicki, yes. She's at 20 now.
Great defensive effort by Peyton Dunn, but just couldn't get it done there.
19-16, watch Lednicki.
Auburn just scrapping and fighting for it. And it's expected, right? Like both teams expect the other team to dig the ball. They expect them to make great plays. And I just love how neither team, they're just rising to the occasion. The competition level is just getting more intense. You don't see anyone backing away. You don't see coaches trying to figure out a different way to score. You see them saying, stick with what we do, keep going after it, foot on the gas here, finish out the set.
Well, we've shown you some of the excellence statistically for Auburn compared to the SEC and nationally. How about this for the Aggies, though, in the national rankings? They are 6th in assists per set. This is nationally. 12th in kills per set, 19th in hitting percentage, and 30th in blocks per set. So high quality in a lot of areas for the Aggies as well as Auburn. And that's why at the very start of the telecast, we talked about the pivotal nature of this matchup. It's a very good SEC matchup. Both of these teams are capable of winning the league. Auburn right now at 3-0 in league play. Texas A&M at 1-1. But, you know, this is a cornerstone game. It's early yet in the SEC season, but nonetheless, a very important game.
And this is very much what the postseason is going to look like for both of these teams. I mean, to have this level of competition in, you know, weeks 2, 3, and 4 of conference play. I mean, you are getting prepared for those Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final 4 matches with volleyball played at this level.
19-17, Texas A&M leading, and Auburn serving. Third set action. From the middle, Gosapala, 6'2" junior.
Auburn at this point, I mean, when you see a perfect pass, it's going to the middle or they're going to find Lednicki at this point. So that is what they need a game plan for to close out this set.
This is Lednicki. Point. That little crash you heard was the ball hitting my headset. I'm okay, though. No need to call a trainer. I did protect the water, though. Oh, my. There's that power from the middle. That time it comes from Perkins. Come on, Paige, you've got to do a better job of deflecting that ball.
Listen,
I mean, you were tooling it.
I'm not going to take away your opportunity for game ball touches while we're over here, so.
I don't know why I was holding onto the pin. I could have defended myself. Auburn commits a net violation as we get down to the closing stages of set number 3. Texas A&M 22, Auburn 18. Remember, Auburn is coming off Texas A&M is coming off a reverse sweep, falling behind 2 sets to none, and then winning 3 in a row, and Shear does what she needs to do.
That quick attack from the right side, Shear getting up, arm ready, swinging away to that sharp cross-court kill. That has been just the Achilles heel for both teams, is just that sharp cross-court from the right side.
Auburn defends Lednicki that time. And Auburn collects the point. These Auburn Tigers trying to extend their claws and pull closer, 22-20. Texas A&M leading. The last swing by Dreves, the youngster. This for a 1-point game, and it is a service error. A critical mistake from the service line.
Yeah, that one's tough. But you know, at this point, as a coach, you do exactly what Brent Crouch is doing right now. You don't say a word. It's not worth the conversation. Just get back at it. Try to side out here.
Tatum Thomas, who's had some success. Her team has when she has served. Dreves, yes, point Auburn. That was critical by the freshman.
And I love Lauren Dreves, just the way she approaches this ball. You know, she can hit balls hard, but that is not what she goes up intending to do every time. She sees the court and then makes decisions, and I love that, seeing that in a freshman.
Thibault, who's had a service error, almost had another one. It crawls, and then Auburn unable to defend that swing. And we've got set point coming. Auburn needs to get 3 in a row to extend this set.
That was a crazy turn on the ball by Perkins there. I would have never have guessed she would have had that range in that kind of set.
That sails out of the court, and Texas A&M has responded with a 25-21 lead and win in set number 3, 2-1. A&M leads. It's a great afternoon for some volleyball, y'all, as we come your way from Auburn, Alabama. We are inside Neville Arena, the site this year. And Texas A&M, by the way, has only had 2 5-set matches. So both of these teams have taken care of business relatively early.
And here's that intensity coming back from Bella Bell, just absolute roof on Logan Lednicki.
This is a must-win set for Auburn. The only defeat of the season has come on the road. Auburn claims the first 2 points with fine play at the net. And you see a little more vigor, at least in the first 2 points from Auburn.
And I think the secret sauce is going to be that play at the net, because you see those kills like that from Helmuth there. What Auburn has done a great job of this year is getting those quality touches at the net. But Texas A&M, you see them just ripping through before the block can get set. There's been a lot of untouched kills, and Auburn has done a great job responding to that, but it is something that they're not used to. They're used to knocking the ball down, slowing it down at the net way more often than what we're seeing today.
And that is the 3rd misfire we've seen from Auburn. Very uncharacteristic on the set. Just out of sync 3 times. That does not happen that often. 2 apiece. And the ace. Texas A&M has scored 3 consecutive points. Auburn tried to run it down. It was a good effort from DaCosta. You see Brent Crouch calling out instructions for his Auburn Tigers. And a net violation against Texas A&M. Clearly somebody was in the net. That thing was like a pogo stick up and down. And it was against Texas A&M, 3 each. McCurdy. That's long.
Ava Underwood now serving.
Underwood floats it. And Shear with the big swing. It came back toward her, but was well out of bounds.
Both teams are doing a great job executing on perfect passes in serve receive. But like we talked about with Coach Jamie Morrison, they've had to kind of redefine what perfect is. You know, sometimes all you need is good. You don't need to create this pressure around your serve receive passing to where the ball has to go to this certain spot at this certain speed. And I think both of these teams have grown incredibly comfortable with balls that are just slightly off target and still putting really tough balls over.
Oh, that's well done. Maddie Walk sneaking one home. Setters love that, don't they?
They do, and this is the difference in that 5-1 and 6-2. Auburn does not have the ability to do this with their setters, taking a ball above the height of the net and throwing it over. I'm wondering if Maddie Walk will get this idea a couple more times to close out the match.
Right now, Texas A&M has established a little momentum and leads 7-4. Auburn must win this fourth set to extend the match. Lednicki serves it short.
Service error for the Yankees. Point Auburn. Second game serving number 4.
Auburn fans will shed no tears for Lednicki after that service error. She has just been a wrecking ball today.
She is, and she's hard to plan for. I know we've said that a couple of times, but even in her serving, it is hard to just predict what she can do because she's so versatile.
Whammo! A right side, right-handed swing, and that one had some juice to it.
This is just great ball management, but you see, look at this elbow. I love how the elbow finishes there. She's not getting to swing all the way through with the full torque of the torso, but she gets it done by just managing her arm and doing a great job with the ball control.
Belle Zimmerman with that point for Auburn, and then Texas A&M comes right back to establish an 8-6 lead. Thomas again serving. This will go to Dreves. Strong play at the net for both sides. Texas A&M almost fizzles it away, and there was a violation of, let's see, Texas A&M wants an explanation. There was a violation called. The point originally given to Auburn.
I think this is a net violation on number 21, Morgan Perkins, but man, that was a bold call to make after that long rally there. Great defensive effort by both teams. I hated to see that rally end in that way.
Texas A&M does not have the confidence to ask for a challenge. But it doesn't matter because Auburn just sails another one long. And although there haven't been what you might say an excessive number of errant serves by Auburn, they've come in very tight sets, and you can't afford to give points away like that. How about McCurdy? How about McCurdy from the middle?
I love this line of approach here because Chelsea McCurdy does a great job pulling this ball to that left side. She knows that there's no libero back there, so it's not used to taking those hard swings, making her work for it.
Another service mistake for Auburn.
Yeah, this is the pain point of volleyball in general. You're battling for what? To keep the serve. So when you get back there and you're kind of mishandling the serve, then it can mess with you mentally a little bit.
That's put down on the right side. Bella Bell again.
This is the first slide approach that we've seen all match, but it's because Bella Bell is stacked over here in this serve-receive rotation. Typically, the slide is what you do when you have the front row setter, so it's nice to see someone incorporate it.
Almost for Auburn, but the point goes to Texas A&M. And these Aggies, who have lost only 2 matches this year, one of those in SEC play. And they've come to the Plains and trying to steal one from the Auburn Tigers. Point Texas A&M, it's 12-9. in this decisive, could be decisive, fourth set for Texas A&M.
The Aggies showing themselves as a strong defensive presence at the net as well. Getting a little bit better as the match goes on at ball alignment and taking those options away from the Auburn hitters.
And Paige, what they've done well today are the things they've done well the entire year, Texas A&M.
I would agree, and I think, you know, they're a scrappy team. There's no doubt they can hang with high-intensity volleyball, but they're slowly but surely improving on how they score. They can feed the middles. I mean, when the middles get the ball, they're unstoppable. When Lednicki gets the ball, she's unstoppable. But now they're developing these outside hitters that can also put balls away. They're just becoming a more tenacious and hard to scout team.
There's Lednicki again.
Again, this is a slide tempo to a left-handed right side hitter. She's diving in, hard to get that ball aligned with the blockers. But for Lednicki as a lefty, that's an open net.
21 kills for Lednicki. And right now, Texas A&M is asserting itself and separating from the Auburn Tigers. We've got a timeout. We are in the fourth set. Texas A&M 14, Auburn 10. Auburn wants to talk about it.
This is The History of Glasses by Warby Parker. A theory of optics emerges in Egypt. Then for a while, not much happens, with glasses at least. A millennium later, the first pair is made near the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Texas A&M has a 2-1 lead as we play in the fourth set. The Aggies will stay on the road. They go to Ole Miss, and then they go to Baton Rouge to take on LSU. So Texas A&M is in a 3-game road trip, Auburn, Ole Miss, and LSU. Right now for Auburn, it's time to put a cork in the bottle, and that helps. A Texas A&M service error. Auburn had been somewhat generous at the service line, and Texas A&M returns the gift. 14-11, set 4, Aggies and Auburn. A good effort, a good double-team effort, but it falls in favor of Texas A&M.
When you hit a ball this hard, all surfaces are fair game. It comes off your head, goes over the net. That counts as a kill no matter what. And the stats don't differentiate.
No, they don't. Right now, Texas A&M trying to win in 4 sets. Again, 5-set matches have been very, very infrequent for both of these teams. There is Zimmerman for Auburn. Texas A&M has been involved in a 5-set match only twice this season. Auburn only once. And they would love to go there twice, wouldn't they?
Absolutely.
That's off the blocker. Greaves, the youngster. (15-13). An ace to make up perhaps for some of the errant serves. Lanham floats one in. That one had some pace and a lot of movement. And Texas A&M calls timeout as Auburn has mounted a run and has pulled it within 1.
I love seeing about both of these teams is we've talked a little bit about how we're not seeing anybody pull back. I think that includes the service line. I know there's been a couple of errors that we've seen, but both teams are in attack mode behind the service line, and they've done a great job just going after the serve receive rather than just trying to get the ball in and not make an error, and that's added to the excitement and the intensity of this game so far.
Let's take a look around the league. We'll bring you up to date with some SEC scores. And those will be coming right now. Texas shut out Florida 3-0. Georgia and Alabama are in the third set, tied at 1.
Because this is truly where it's anybody's game. You've added Oklahoma and Texas. So already strength of schedule is just exponentially greater for all SEC teams.
When you add a national champion a couple of times, that helps, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And to know that if national championships continue, those now belong to your conference. I mean, that just adds to your resume as you try to go for those deep postseason slots.
Perkins puts it down for Texas A&M, and that stops the Auburn run. Only a 2-point lead, though, for Texas A&M. They will serve for more. Brent Crouch looking on from the Auburn sideline and directing the defensive setup. Dreves, yes, for Auburn. A long rally.
But she's so strategic. I mean, Lauren Dreves is just the sniper of this team. She could go up and hammer this ball, but look at her looking across the court. Let's just get a ball in a tough spot and see if they can reach it, and this time they could not.
Guess what? Another service mistake, critical for the Auburn Tigers. They fall back by 2, 17-15. Reeves off a defender, playable by Texas A&M. Back row, Lednicki, Auburn defends. And that's off the blocker, out of bounds, point Texas A&M, 18-15. The Aggies trying to close in on a 4-set victory. Morgan Perkins serving, and that's long. Auburn will gladly accept that service mistake.
Absolutely. Don't give them anything. Don't make it easy on the other team to gain any more momentum other than what they already have.
So Auburn now serving to pull within 1 late in the 4th set. Off the blocker from the middle. Casapala. 19-16, Texas A&M. Only one team has defeated Auburn this year, Texas A&M, looking to become the first SEC team to do it. Auburn 3-0 in SEC play. Texas A&M 1-1. Walk with the set. Lednicki rejected.
That's it.
How about that play from the middle? Chelsea McCurdy.
These are those athletic plays, those big defensive efforts from Auburn, starting with DaCosta here. Ball goes across the net and then is just shut out by Chelsea McCurdy.
That is blocked cleanly, but out. Auburn rising to the occasion, but unable to keep it back in play. And it's 20-17. Ellie Stinson. Once again, off the blocker, out of bounds, point Texas A&M. And the Aggies are 4 points away from beating Auburn in 4 sets, but still some time for the Auburn Tigers to come back. They're going to take a timeout right here to talk about it, trailing by 4. This has been a rock'em sock'em matinee performance for both of these teams, and the Aggies to this point by a small margin have outplayed the Auburn Tigers. They've come in here with a feisty attitude and enough effectiveness to be on the verge of winning in 4 sets.
And head coach Jamie Morrison talked about why he left Team USA volleyball, why he left that national level volleyball to come to the collegiate level. He was looking for a school like Texas A&M. He was looking for an opportunity where the tradition of Texas A&M was just that feisty, and it's not just the players, it's their traditions of their student section. It's just the culture of Texas A&M. He loves playing in those gyms, in his home gym, but he said it helps him when he goes on the road, when people are really intense and they're cheering against his team. He says his players don't know any different, and so that's been a great tool for him. And he almost laughed at how last year they had a statistic that they were actually better on the road than they were at home, and so he's trying to build on that, keep them intense, keep the tenacity up to where no environment can rattle his team.
And speaking of support, the same can be said here at Auburn as crowds are growing, and this sport across the SEC, especially in some particular areas, is on the verge of blossoming like gymnastics has, like softball has, like some other women's sports have. It's going to happen in volleyball.
Oh, yes, I think we're watching it happen as we speak.
Another point to Texas A&M with strong defensive play at the net. 22-17, the Aggies are closing in on a road victory against the Auburn Tigers. Ellie Stinson serving. A critical point provided by Auburn.
This high hands, high off the block swing, going deep into the court, but still just a great effort by Texas A&M. They are just not going to watch the ball hit the floor.
Shear could not quite get it over the blockers. And that one was a little bit out of timing. And I think she was only left with that little soft shot. 23-18. Texas A&M 2 points away. Auburn does not allow A&M to get the 24th point.
We see Auburn respond with this intensity. Just keep going back to the game plan. Don't be afraid of how we plan for this team. As the intensity level rises, you have to have this nice balance of, I'm athletic enough, I can see the court well enough to make my own decisions, but I also have to know what rotation are we in and what is the game plan against this particular lineup. And both teams have really got to keep that in the forefront of their mind.
Pressure on the freshman serving. And Texas A&M handles the serve and then puts it down. Kaylee Edson got the serve in, but Texas A&M is now 1 point away from defeating Auburn in Neville Arena. That is out on the sideline, and Texas A&M in 4 sets has taken care of business here to send the Auburn Tigers to their first SEC defeat this season. 25-19 the final, as Texas A&M wins sets 1, 3, and 4, and look good doing it.
And viewers at home and fans in the stands, this is what the postseason is going to look like. It is just going to be a bloodbath. I mean, who can hang in there the